Okay, so let's talk about some of the ways that you learn silencing as an ADHD girl. So the first way is by being understood. So if you've had the experience as an ADHD girl of feeling misunderstood when you've tried to communicate, it may have caused you to be afraid to share your thoughts and ideas. And there's lots of reasons why this can happen. Executive functioning differences may have made processing during communication exchanges hard with neurotypical people or just in general. So you may have had like periods of excessive enthusiasm or specialized interest that you wanted to share. And that may have led others to treat you as if your communication style was weird or different. So that's something that happens. And those interactions may have led you to feeling alone or different. And so you may have just concluded, like, hey, I just need to keep this stuff to myself. You may have learned that your thoughts and ideas were less valuable or less valid than others. I mean, girls can just learn this in general. And that may have led you to hold back even when you had something important to say. Society can just imply that girls' voices are less valuable, especially neurodivergent ones, and less important than boys. The third thing is the burden of emotional labor. So this is when you're expected to manage others' emotions and provide emotional support, listen to others, handle conflict. This is part of emotional labor. And so it can make it hard for you to prioritize your own needs and desires and thoughts because you're already compromised when it comes to what you're supposed to be doing when you're speaking and listening, right? It's already used up doing all that work. The fourth is a lack of representation. And so this is when we talk about how your neurodivergent girls in leadership roles or specialized fields can make you feel like your voice isn't just going to be heard or valued. And so in the workplace and places where you would be needing to speak up or wanting to speak up, you might not be because you don't see other women doing that or other neurodivergent people doing that. The fifth is punishment for different thoughts and emotions. And so being socially conditioned to be agreeable, nurturing, non-confrontational, quiet, focused, patient, all those things that might not be part of who you are. When you defy those norms, you can face punishment and shame in school, from peers, at home, when you speak and you communicate and you don't meet those norms. Number 6 is feeling different or the pressure to conform and mask, right? So when you look around, and this kind of fits with some of those other things, and you feel different or out of place, you're not thinking or feeling or wanting to speak in the ways that other people do. You're perhaps going to just choose not to speak at all, right? The next is internalized stigma. So many women, many ADHD women, do not realize the voice of their thoughts and the validity of their emotions, the value of their thoughts, and the need for their voices. And they have internalized these messages that labelize them as weird or stupid or lazy or not valuable. And they've just believed these ideas, right? And so why speak up? It doesn't matter. It's not worthy anyway of being heard. Next is invalidation of your emotional experiences, right? You may have felt like your emotions were dismissed or dramatic. And so you have self-doubt about, again, like why even verbalize them? They're not true. They're not valid. They're not meaningful. So they're not real. So why even speak to them? And then, of course, finally, the gold standard girl, right? As a young girl or woman, you felt pressure to conform to the social expectations of being that good girl, which is polite, accommodating, nurturing. And that often means neglecting your own needs, thoughts, feelings, and desire to speak. And you have this fear in the background of being labeled as difficult or bossy. So we don't want to speak up and say what we're thinking when that's the case, right? So these are all things that are working against us, using our voice, finding our voice, speaking our thoughts.